Good day, everyone. This is Group 4 and we will be tackling the population dynamics. Under this topic, we will be going to discuss the demographic factors, population growth, population regulation, and the importance of population dynamics. So, first of all, under the demographic factors, we have population density, that is the number of people per unit of area. Under this is the natality, mortality, immigration, and immigration. And the formula for this is n sub t plus 1 minus n sub t is equals to open and close parenthesis b minus d plus open and close parenthesis I minus e, wherein n is the number of individuals in the population. T plus 1 is the population at the future capita birth rate. If birth is greater than death, then the population increases, while if birth is less than death, then the population declines. To visualize how demographic factors affect population expansion and shrinking, life tables, survivorship curve, and age structure are used. Life tables are the record of the birth and death rates for organisms at different life stages. Survivorship curve is the graphical presentation of elements of the life table. And lastly, age structure or the growth of a population is at a specific moment in time. Also, there are two types of population, which is the simultaneous and heteroparous. Simultaneous is the Big Bang reproducing population and reproduces a single time and die. Examples of these are annual plants like rice, insects, and agave. While heteroparous is the repeated reproduction and produce offspring repeatedly over time. Examples of these are mammals, rabbits, and etc. Moving on to the second subtopic, which is the population growth, it has 5 subtopics, namely biotic potential, potential growth rate, stages, carrying capacity, and the environmental resistance factors. First is the biotic potential. It is the property or capacity of populations or the maximum reproductive rate of an organism, which influences by sex ratio and age distribution. Second is the population growth. It is equal to the product of the existing population size and innate capacity of increase of the population. It has two types of growth patterns, the exponential or J-shaped growth pattern and the logistic or sigmoidal or S-shaped growth pattern. In exponential growth, per capita growth rate does not change even if the population gets very large. While in logistic growth, per capita growth rate gets smaller as the population approaches its maximum size. Moving on to the third subtopic, which is the stages, the lag phase or the first stage is the population size is small, then resources are abundant. The lag or exponential phase is the rapid growth and fast resource utilization. Next is the stationary phase wherein there is zero population growth and carrying capacity is reached. Lastly, the death or decline phase is when the population has exceeded carrying capacity. The carrying capacity changes with changes in the environment, while the environmental resistance is defined by limiting factors such as the raw materials, energy supply, and accumulation of waste products. Next is the population regulation or the limits to population growth. Limiting factors determine the carrying capacity of an environment for a species, and these limiting factors are divided into two subtopics, which is the density dependent and density independent. The density independent are natural disaster and natural weather like typhoon, earthquake, landfall, and etc. While the density dependent are predation, waste accumulation, disease and parasites, and competition with the population. Lastly, how important population dynamics is. Well, to give you a list, these are the reasons why is it important. Firstly, it contributes conservation of diverse plants and animals by studying the population itself. Second, the maintenance and economically important animals and plants population is also studied in this topic. Lastly, the control of noxious pests including pathogens and parasites. So, this will end our discussion now. Thank you for listening and hope you have learned from this presentation.